Hello. I thought I would finally get round to doing a little video tour of the piece of land we've bought here in Central Portugal. We have just had 3 days of rain, so the sun has finally come out and it feels heavenly. It's a bit soggy here at the moment, but it is the 22nd of January, so midwinter. You kind of expect not the best weather, but I will take 10 degrees and sunshine. It's not too shabby. But yeah, we bought the land in December, and it's a bit chaotic at the moment, but we've got lots of lovely plans for it, so hopefully it'll start coming together. And I thought maybe I could do like a monthly update on what we've been working on, mostly because I think it'd be really nice for us to look back on as well. I'm just standing at the top now. This is the lane, it's in front of me, the lane we come down, and then there's a couple of houses down here, but they don't live there full time, and Portugal's currently in lockdown, so there's no one living here, no one comes down this road, apart from one other neighbour who lives up there. He keeps sheep, and he's sometimes driving around shepherding them, and you sometimes hear their bells as they go past. But yeah, behind me here's the track we come down to get to our land, and then I think I'm gonna have to stop filming so I can turn the camera around because I'm just doing this on my phone. So this is as if I'm coming down the track to the land, and the very first project we had to do was sort out this driveway access because it was a really steep incline, and we actually got stuck getting onto the land the very first time, and luckily one of the neighbours came and helped us get unstuck. So we've kind of done the best we can to try and, sort of have a temporary ability to get on and off the land. And it's actually worked really well. I'm quite impressed with how we've managed to actually just do it and bodge it together. The van does get on and off now. So this is the edge of our land actually, runs along here, and then next door is another olive grove that belongs to someone else. So this is the edge of our land. We have a little lean-to here that I'm not too sure what we're going to do with. And then the van's here, which is where we currently sleep and get any electricity from. We can charge our phones and my laptop and things. And then, so this is along the boundary, and Iwan's been working on clearing some of the debris out of here because there's a little stream that I imagine dries up in the summer, but it's quite lovely that we've got some running water along here. And then you come here to our first well, which Frankie, our dog, fell in the other day, which was quite funny. Don't worry, it's not too big a drop. There's like a little step that she fell into there. Oh, hopefully you can still hear me against the wind. And this is a traditional old way of getting water from the well called a picot, I think, in Portuguese, and you'd rig up a stick with a bucket to pull the water out of the well. We've not yet had the water tested, but eventually we will, and then we'll filter it to be able to drink it, but for now it's just going to be for watering the plants. So this is the beginning of our olive terrace. We've got a few more olive trees, and there's a bit of parcel of land behind me that I'll come back down to. So I think we've got about 40 olive trees, and then we've also got lots of vines dotted around. Frankie's furious because I'm talking. She thinks I'm with someone. Frankie! This is another that seems to be like a waterway here, so we're going to try and clear all this and get the water flowing. Here's the olive grove, and then our land just ends at the back there, this is the beginning of my vegetable patch, which is the thing I'm most excited about. I've planted some strawberries and onions and cabbages and peas and spinach. This eyesore is the current compost bin that I'm going to make much nicer, and so this is the edge of our land here, and then next door is someone else's olive grove that they just visit to pick the olives, so we don't really see many people other than when they were harvesting the olives. And then this back wall is the end of our land, but I'll come back this way so you can see it as we sort of approach up the path. There's Iwan eating eggs, I think. So yeah, lots of vines that go along the border with the neighbour, so we're excited to see what the grapes are like, maybe make some wine. This is a fruit tree, quince I think. We've got a few quince trees, which I've never tasted quince before apart from as jam. I think that might be the only thing you can do with it. So yeah, these vines are all the border of our land, and this is our barn building that will eventually become a home. But it's a bit basic at the moment, and so the neighbour has a lean-to that leans onto the building. I mean, the big dream would be to actually acquire his olive grove and land too, but you know, maybe in a couple of years we might be able to agree something with him. This is an absolute mess. It's full of hay and tools. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see. But, you know, eventually could be a beautiful bedroom. Oh, I'm stuck to something. Yeah, we would repair the roof and repoint the walls, put windows in, ignore chaotic mess. It's full of hay, so we're just it's a dumping ground at the moment, and we're using this other building, there again, as our sort of shelter / kitchen storage space. Finally got a heater, and we shored up the roof with some expandable foam because it was very breezy. Tiny little kitchen going on, some eggs. Oh, is that a tiny little orange inside?
Maybe tangerine inside a big tangerine.
There you go. So yeah, it's basic, but it's cosy and it functions, and we like it. But yeah, eventually again we will also redo the roof, repoint the walls. We'll probably plasterboard the breeze blocks, and then beautiful old rosemary tree, and I've started my little garden here as well. And then this is our second well, which, because we're higher up, because we're on a slope, is a lot deeper to get to the actual water. And it's very high at the moment because we've had so much rain. I imagine it's not very high in the summer. Lots of mess, ignore that. And then this is like a traditional reservoir that you would put the water in from the well using the picot, I think I'm saying it correctly. And then this wall is the boundary, and then there's someone else's olive grove and a little pine forest here. Lots of beautiful olive trees, more vines, and some very young cork oaks. We have 2 large cork oaks at the bottom of the land, but we have these little baby ones popping up all over the place as well. And yeah, I'll take you down to the big cork oaks. But first we get to go past my garlic bed. It's the first thing I did when we got the land, was planted up some garlic, and it's coming along really nicely. and the floor is full of flowers. I think it's chamomile and a type of marigold, it looks like. But yeah, it's really lovely to be in January and have flowers, because back home in Wales it's mostly just brown. This is all the terraces of the olives. Olive harvest is in November, so it was just before we bought the land, and the previous owners actually left all the olives on the tree and so we tried to harvest some. We harvested about 3 olive trees, and the rest kind of went to compost the ground. But next year we will do it properly. So here's the boundary of our land here. This is another tree, could be a fig, I don't know. We're kind of waiting to see what grows. It's the only way we're going to find out. When we were first viewing the land, the estate agent told us what the trees were. There's fig, there's an old apple tree, there's a pear tree, but I can't remember which one's which. So we've got another small little terrace of olive trees down here, and then this is the bottom bordering of the land. It's just over 2,000 metres square, which is a bit smaller than we'd originally planned, but when we started viewing properties and looked at the bigger ones and the amount of work the land needs, we decided smaller might be better for us, because already this is years and years worth of work to get it to be how we want it to be. And luckily this is also land that's been quite well cultivated, whereas some we were looking at were very wild. So this vine here is the edge of our land. Someone else's well there. There's lots of wells dotted about. And then we've just got this tiny little nook at the end, so we've got 2 great big cork oaks here that are just probably one of my favourite parts of the land. They're absolutely glorious trees, and what they do is they harvest the cork from the trunks every 9 years. So these will be harvested next year, so you can see sort of where the cork is growing back over the last 9 years. That's what it would look like if it just got left. Don't know if you could make it out there, but those have recently been harvested across the road, and it's really red, the bark, when it's just been harvested. I think it's quite a specialist job to be able to harvest the cork, so we'll have to figure that one out next summer. So it's just a small little nook here. We're not really too sure what to do with it. And when we first came to view the land, there was a snake here. We've not seen him since. Non-poisonous one, I was assured by the estate agent. But he certainly made me jump. I'm not really used to seeing snakes. So yeah, this is the very bottom. Just goes down a little bit along here. There's a few more olive trees. Oh, there's a hooper bird. I think it's called a hooper. So yeah, it feels a bit drier here. Not too sure if we just might turn it into a bit of a forest and plant some more trees. And then, yeah, the boundary is just here, where all this wild lavender is growing. It smells amazing, so I might try and get some more of that growing down here. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear the sheep bells and lots of birds. But yeah, that is the land. We have lots of plans. It's been quite an interesting challenge living back to such basics, having to go and collect our water, not really having much. Well, we have enough electricity for the basics, and we have like the toilet that you use in a caravan that we have to go and empty. And then getting the gas heater because we were suffering with the cold, even though we have lots of layers and down jackets and down sleeping bags. It was surprisingly quite cold. We would wake up with ice in the van, which has finally seemed to have passed that depth of weather. So that's the land, and I'm really excited to start pulling all our plans together with it. And I'll do an update in a month, and hopefully we'll have actually done some work on it.